Welcome. Let's plays. Gameplays. DIY projects. 2. Arcade gaming. Snoley game. What's going on, everybody? ZmanTheTech here. I want to thank you for tuning into Snoley Games. Appreciate you very much, as always. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 8bitdo SN30 Pro. I chose this one because I'm from the US and frankly not used to the SF30, the Famicom, Super Famicom version. I'm used to the concave buttons, and I hear that that one doesn't have that. Not that it's a huge deal, but yeah, I'm just used to this color scheme too. But yeah, just real briefly, I wanted to showcase this controller. It has been a lifesaver. When it comes to the fee of the, obviously the fee for the Nintendo Switch Pro controller is a little bit up there. But I mean, these days, which controllers aren't expensive? I mean, that's kind of a standard now. But yeah, that being said, to have a proper D-pad, this is definitely one of my first choices, other than the Pro controller, of course, which I do have, but I needed some extra controllers with D-pads, and what better way to go than the stylized Super Nintendo? So, as you can see here, we're going to start with the D-pad because that's the most important thing that we have here. So, I will say that, first of all, you can see it's pretty much modeled after the original SNES controller, with the exception of adding some sticks and extra top buttons and whatnot. And of course, it's wireless. However, I will say that the D-pad it's not bad. It's definitely precise. It's not as mushy as the original Super Nintendo. And actually, probably going to hear some things moving, so I have Versus Mario Bros in the back there. But say for instance, I'll put that in sleep mode here. Okay, and when you do that, it automatically turns controllers off. So that's a plus, I suppose. Which is great. Some controllers tend to be in searching mode and kind of drains the battery if it doesn't turn off automatically. But anywho, just so you can hear it here. Okay, I'm not pressing very hard. I mean, it doesn't take much to execute. However, it's definitely as you can hear it here, it's more of a tactile button approach that they took, which is fine, not a big deal. You just have to remember, like, me myself, I'm used to the original SNES controller, so I'm used to that mushiness in the membrane, and it's very responsive, a little less clicky, but still precise. This is more clicky, precision's there, just not as, the mushiness is not there. It's straight tactile is what it feels like here. But precision-wise, it's excellent, so I don't have a problem with it. You just have to remember not to push down as hard as you would on a regular SNES controller, or you tend to blister up a bit. I don't know. I'm good right now because I've learned how to use it a little better. But yeah, I mean, and it depends on how well you get into the game too. It's like, oh man, you like Street Fighter or something, you're trying to go in real hard. Just got to be mindful of that. That's really the only gripe I have with it. But compatibility wise, it's excellent. I mean, you have the HD rumble, you have the built-in gyro sensor, you have your L3, R3, okay, you got your regular L and R, and then L2, R2, or I guess as I would say, ZL and ZR for my folks across seas over there. But yeah, And you got your capture button, and you have your home button. Mostly 8-bit those symbols, but you get the idea. So along the backside, you'll have, of course, 8bitdo's model information, things like that. But importantly here, if you zoom in, we have the modes. So the awesome thing about this controller is you can use it for Switch, as well as PC, Mac, and it shows up as X input and direct input. It is compatible with PC and so forth, and Android as well as Raspberry Pi. I mean, this thing is like, for the price tag, I believe it was $49.99 a piece. I have 2 of them, but I also got a bit of a deal on eBay. So it depends on how you shop for it, but I definitely recommend it. And basically, there's if you read the manual, there's some specific ways to, other than, I mean, technically you can still go by that, realistically, but for other platforms that may not be listed, yeah, you may want to just double check. But I'm assuming it would go by X input or direct input. So, but yeah, as you can see here, you'd basically it says hitting on and one of those combination buttons. On for this controller is technically start. So you would hold start in one of those buttons. I'm already synced up, paired. So what I did notice though, sometimes syncing it to the Switch can be a little tricky, as with a lot of these controllers, especially Bluetooth, that have firmwares and things like that that are downloadable, which 8bitdo is really good about. You want to make sure you're up to date, because as firmware releases for the Switch, you got to keep it up to date with the controller, and you'll know by not being able to sync it as easy or sync it at all. So thankfully they're super loyal about the product. They're constantly updating it along with the updates for Switch and every other platform. So it's amazing. I mean, it's a really great company. I like a lot of, pretty much all their products. I haven't seen one that I don't like. This is just my preference, and I think there is actually a newer model than this now. I wouldn't be surprised. So, but this is the one of my choice. There's definitely others out there. So yeah, what I did notice though, that's what I was going to. What I did notice is that syncing it could be a problem at times. Not a huge one, but it's a slight issue. So I did notice that once I get it going with on and it's already paired to the unit, if you wake it up, it'll automatically just grab on. So I'm going to show you a little bit of versus Super Mario Bros. Because I've never actually covered it on my channel. So yeah, like again, I apologize for the glare, but that's what I'm working with right now. All right, so this is where I left off. So I'm just going to kind of go with it. I think I'm at World 6-1. I don't even know what I was doing. Just trying to, trying to see how far I can get without losing all my continues and whatnot. Ooh, that was close. Like it too. Why? Yeah, it's very responsive, and this game may not be the best to test with because it typically performs a little different than your standard Mario Bros. So this one was like a strictly arcade kind of thing, and it was very interesting. The physics were definitely had a difference to them. So, anywho, I can go more in depth with this particular version on another video because there are quite a few options on these arcade archives titles. So, but for now, we're gonna hit home, back out. And I don't know, I usually test D-pads with Street Fighter. I try not to all the time. So I think we'll do, I'm going to test with Garu Mark of the Wolves. If I can find it. There we go. Or Garo, I'm probably saying it wrong, I don't know. No one's killed me in the comments yet, so I'm cool with it. But by all means, definitely correct me if I'm wrong here. Now let's see if we could move this over just a tad. There we go. So I typically like the Japanese version because, I don't know, I'm just used to that one. Well, I'll be honest with you. They changed my guy's name for whatever reason. They called him Butt. Literally, they called him Butt in the American version. And in the Japanese version, he is Margot Rodriguez. Can't say I'm happy about that, but it is what it is. So, I know you probably can't see me executing here. It's probably going to have trouble focusing on both. There we go. So putting in coins, I noticed for these games in particular, it is a little awkward as far as learning how to operate them, unless you really take a look at the manual, like the digital one, I guess. But you would think start and select does all those things, but for their menus, it is start. And then in the game, basically top buttons seem to be inserting coins and starting with R. So L is coin, R is start. I don't know. Took us the longest time. I want to be honest. It took us the longest time to figure out how to get 2 players on versus Mario Bros. I felt stupid. Okay, so we're gonna do Margot. Oh, I got an odd color, but it's okay.
Round 1. Fight!
Yeah, it's... Yeah, it's very precise. Like doing the uppercut, I mean, the forward down forward punch is like seamless. It's no issues at all. Okay, and if you like using the stick, I mean, you can do that too. I'm not a big fan of it, but sorry, you probably can't see the game. It's kind of hard to do at my current angle, but I mean that's just as precise as well. Probably even more. I mean, you can get more angles and stuff with the joystick. That's the advantage over the D-pad. So I mean, it's been argued by many, but for me, I gotta have the D-pad, and I'm super familiar with this controller. You know, like there's nothing new other than the sticks, and then you got extra buttons up top. I mean, it's wonderful. Now I will say playing first-person shooters is a little wonky. Not like wonky, but I'm used to having a grip to hold on to. Hey, Terry. Terry is not having it. You ain't getting in on this, Terry. Come on. Oh, man. Terry, why? Alright, I gotta get Terry before I do this. Okay, he wasn't having it. Yeah, it's not looking good for me. I think Terry's going to take it. He got me. All right. So, all in all, I think it's definitely worth it. Like I said, if you can find a discount other than $49.99 a pop, definitely grab it. I got mine in bulk, so I think by the end of it, I only paid about $45 to $48, shipping included. So it was definitely worth it. You know, brand new in box. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. It's one of my go-tos, especially for retro games. Mega Man, anything retro and beyond. It's super compatible. And I just for the sake of HD Rumble, I have tested it for Super Mario Odyssey, which, you know, certain parts require you to have HD Rumble, or else you won't be able to find certain stars. Like, it won't rumble right. So this one apparently has the same technology, and it recognizes it, and you can still get those stars without any problems. So just wanted to throw that out there as well. Now, there isn't any NFC technology, so that's the only thing that this doesn't have. But other than that, I mean, it's super compatible. So yeah, the 8bitdo SN30, super thumbs up from me. I'd highly recommend it, or any other product that they put out. I'm looking into getting their arcade sticks because that's just my preferred method of play. I'm used to that because when I was younger, we didn't, you know, we weren't able to get game consoles and stuff like that because it was rather expensive. So I would pretty much be at laundromats and stuff like that, you know, playing my games and popping in quarters, and you had to get good or else you wasted money. So that is my preferred method. But yeah, I mean, as far as the comfort of this and the familiarity of it, yeah, this is definitely a must buy. So yeah, if you like what you saw, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and keep it locked to Snoley Games for all of your indie game, third-party game, and tech reviews. Thanks.